Welcome in. What's Right with Nick? Oh my goodness gracious. Welcome in. What's Right with Nick Wright? Episode 141. We're going to have to fix that in post. It is our first episode that from start to finish, my soon-to-be 18-year-old high school graduate daughter, Diorra, is in for Demonze. Demonze officially moves to LA on Friday. Now, he will be, for those Demonze stands out there, it's really just one guy with a Twitter account. He will be back on the show from Los Angeles before football season resumes. But in the meantime, the star of stage and screen, one Diorra Wright, is going to join me. You excited for this?
Yeah!
Okay, that seems sarcastic, but she is. This is a great opportunity for her. And any casting agents out there, keep in mind, again, as we mentioned last week, the college fund isn't quite as robust as it once was. So if she gets maybe an opportunity, a professional opportunity to go along with college or maybe replace college, we are listening. And she is, accepting auditions. Here is what is not on today's show. Not on the show. Paul George going to miss the start of the playoffs. That's not on the show because we already knew it. Aaliyah Boston goes number 1 overall in the WNBA draft. And sidebar on that, with name, image, and likeness being a big thing in college sports now, and with the women's tournament rating the way it did, I think you're going to see the best female basketball players trying to stay as long in college, maybe 5th year of eligibility, because I think there is more money to be made right now for a college women's basketball player than in the WNBA. And Carson Palmer, with the worst sports take of 2023, close the books on it. We're in April. No one's going to beat it. He says Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes. Now, Diorra, you're not what I would call a diehard football fan, but in your, somewhat amateur opinion, is there anyone in the league better than Patrick Mahomes?
I wouldn't say so.
Even she knows that, yet Carson Palmer, because he's a Bengal, is going to cape for Joe Burrow. Give me a break. All right, Diorra. It's going to be really hard for me not to call you Scooter throughout today's show. I keep wanting to say, all right, Scoot. All right, Diorra, what are we starting with today?
Okay, so your NBA champion pick, the Lakers, are in the play-in.
Yeah.
And you've predicted that the Warriors won't make it out of round 1.
Yes.
So what happens when LA gets bounced and the Warriors go on to defend their title?
Okay, well, that's not going to happen, but that would be disastrous for me.
Right.
So I do have a bit of a tortured history involving my picks and the Warriors. So it dates back to 26. Really, my first big day on television was filling in for Colin Cowherd, July 4th, 2016.
Oh.
What? What do you make? What, you think it's sweet that I remember the day? And it was the biggest day in my professional life up to that point. I was hosting my Professional Idols radio show. I was getting to host it because it was a holiday. He was with his family. And 10 minutes before we went on the air, Kevin Durant shocked me and a lot of the sports world by leaving the Oklahoma City Thunder to go to the Golden State Warriors. Mm-hmm. And I said that day, and then throughout that season, that the Warriors had made a mistake. That they should have just run it back. And I know now it seems ridiculous, but in the moment, my argument, I think, was sound. That was the best team I had ever seen, the 2016 Warriors. They had just won 73 games. Steph Curry had the best offensive season, arguably, in the history of the sport. Now they're massively changing their team because they were overreacting to LeBron ripping off the greatest 3-game stretch in the history of basketball to beat them. That if one shot had gone differently, they would have won back-to-back championships and not changed anything. So why massively remake their team? I said they'd be worse. Then they lost to the LeBron and the Cavs on Christmas, and I said the Cavs were going to win the title, and the Cavs would beat them in 5 games, 4-1. The Lakers went on to win the next 2 championships. They won in 5 that year. The next year, they swept LeBron, and many people consider it the greatest team in the history of the sport. Then Durant got hurt. Durant and Draymond get into an argument. Durant leaves, and then the Warriors are seemingly, flailing about. They get D'Angelo Russell in the Durant trade. They then trade D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins and draft picks. Andrew Wiggins at the time was on a horrible contract and a very inefficient player. And I went on TV and said this trade is going to be the reason why Steph Curry never plays in another NBA Finals. And then 2 years later, the Warriors made the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm. So you were wrong.
I was very wrong. And the Warriors players talked about it, and Draymond Green said, Nick Wright, when are you going to apologize to Andrew Wiggins? It was a whole thing. I was very wrong. So the Warriors make the finals against another team I don't have a great history with, Boston, and I picked the Warriors to win the title. And then the Warriors win. It's 1-1 in the series. I have picked the Warriors to win the title. And I switched my pick to the Celtics. And then guess what happened, Diorra?
I thought you were never wrong, though. I'm a little confused.
Well, I'm very rarely, if ever, wrong on facts. As I do not have the ability to see the future, so occasionally my predictions are incorrect. But so I finally, for the first time ever, picked the Warriors, and then switched it to the Celtics. And then what happened in that series, do you think? The Warriors won. And then Draymond Green again podcasted about me and saying that I have to stand on it. Of course you would too. So, that then brings us to this year, where the Golden State Warriors were a historically bad road team.
I haven't heard about them in a while.
Yeah, exactly, because they haven't been that good. And they are playing the frisky Sacramento Kings. The Kings had a great season. They're the 3 seed. The Warriors had a disappointing season. They're the 6 seed. The Warriors are huge favorites in the series. I am picking the Kings. I do not believe this Warriors team is going to be able to just...
If they win...
It's not great for me.
If they win, it's going to be the funniest thing ever.
So then, let me give you the context of the Lakers. Lakers obviously had a terrible start to the season. They had a broken roster. Then they made massive trades. Since the trade deadline, they've been the best team in the West. I am picking the Lakers to win the title. In part,
just because of LeBron, though? Is that just because,
when you have
by him?
Not to stick by him, but because he's still one of the 8 best players in the sport. Anthony Davis is playing great. And you guys want to know something real funny? Just quickly here, and then I'll get back to the analysis. I told Diorra before the show that, hey, feel free. People like it when you or DeMonte or whomever. Just wait a second. Poke fun at me about the LeBron stuff. So I encouraged her to do it. And yet, right when she did it, I got very angry. I was like, why? No, that is not why. It's not even though I told you to do it, I get very angry. So I picked the Lakers. We could have a Lakers-Warriors round 2 series if the Lakers win tonight and then beat the Grizzlies, and if the Warriors beat the Kings. I don't think the Warriors are beating the Kings. I think the Warriors are emotionally spent after last year. Andrew Wiggins, who is very important to them, I was wrong about him, but he has missed 2 months of basketball attending to a family matter. Now he's going to be thrust into the playoff cauldron and have to be a critical player for them. The Kings, statistically, have the best offense in NBA history on a points per 100 possessions basis. Their all-NBA level point guard is a guy that actually played against your brother in high school, De'Aaron Fox. He's a Houston kid. He's unbelievable. Domantas Sabonis is the exact type of center that gives Draymond trouble. So I believe the Kings will beat the Warriors. If the Kings don't beat the Warriors, the Lakers certainly will dispatch of the Warriors in round 2. Now, to answer the question.
Okay.
If the Lakers were to get bounced early, maybe even in the play-in, which they won't, and the Warriors were to win the title, I've got some hard choices to make.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to just become a football guy. Because my football predictions for multiple years have been spot on. But everyone kind of views me as an NBA guy just because of the LeBron stuff. Because I was first to market.
You guys are best friends.
No, we're not best
friends. You guys are best
No, I don't think we're best friends. I don't even think LeBron and I are friends. We're friendly. but I don't think we're close. It's not like he and I text or chat. I just recognize what I'm seeing. And so on the LeBron thing, you know what? I'm going to save this for Thursday's show. Remind me to have a LeBron best case, worst case discussion on Thursday's show.
I will not.
Okay, well, someone that takes their job seriously. You know what? I'm going to trust Victor with it because Victor, one of our producers, even though I take shots at his, headwear occasionally, Victor, you're my guy. Victor's shaking his head. Oh, Victor's also not wearing the skull cap today. He switched it up. I bullied him out of it a little bit. He's got it right next to him. Victor, remind me to do a LeBron best case, worst case thing. But short version is, as I give a 10-minute answer, it's terribly bad for me. If my worst case scenario of these playoffs is the Warriors beating the Lakers in round 2 and then the Warriors going on to win the title. Luckily, we're going to get Lakers Kings in round 2, and I am going to some of those games. I'm going to Sacramento to watch some of those games. I'm going to Los Angeles to watch some of those games. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. Do you know where the Sacramento Kings in
Sacramento?
Well, that's not the question. In the early 80s, they moved from a city to Sacramento. What city do you think it was?
I don't know.
Where were you born? Where was I born?
Kansas City.
They were the Kansas City Kings. Tiny Nate Archibald, only guy ever to lead the league in points and assists per game
Kansas
in a
City
season.
Not even have a team in
I know, they left us. We haven't had a team in 40 years.
Maybe it's because it's Kansas City.
Oh, what does that mean?
They could have the Chiefs.
It's not like Sacramento's a bustling metropolis.
It's better than Kansas City.
Okay, shots fired.
Shots
fired at our hometown. I don't like that. I don't like that. We have you and me, of our 5 members of our family, we're the only people born in Kansas City.
One's in California and one is in Kansas and Missouri.
Well, it's in Missouri.
Which doesn't really help.
Okay, next topic. I'm not going to have you take shots at our hometown. What type of who did I raise? You have no hometown loyalty. It's outrageous. Next.
I wouldn't really call it my hometown.
It is your hometown.
I don't claim it.
It's where you were born.
I don't claim it.
Where do you claim it?
I don't claim it. I claim I'm from Houston.
You claim but you're not.
But I claim that. I moved there when I was going into the 2nd grade. Yeah. I don't claim Kansas City.
Okay, next. I don't like that at all. Okay. I don't like that at all.
Moving on.
Yeah.
The Mavs pulled off the biggest collapse possible, but Luka says he's happy in Dallas. Right. And the Hawks are shopping Trae Young, even though they're not even eliminated yet.
Yeah.
Crazy idea. What if the Hawks and the Mavs did the Luka for Trae trade again?
Okay, so they were traded on draft day for each other. That would be the biggest disaster in Mavericks history. That trade could never happen.
Disaster
would never
like
happen.
Favorite word,
have I been saying it a lot?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, well, I don't mean... because I was...
Travesty.
Yeah, okay, well, you know what? This is why it's good to have you here.
No,
this is why...
I was joking.
No, this is why it's good to have you here, because you will keep me up on those types of things. You're right. I need to expand my vocabulary a bit, and I will try to do that. So thank you for that. I am a wordsmith. This is how I make my
just
money.
Keep talking.
So, Luka for Trae would be a debacle for the Mavericks. And it can't happen. So listen, this year went as poorly as a season can go for the Mavs. And next year all of a sudden becomes maybe the biggest year in franchise history, because next year will determine whether we look at this season where they missed the playoffs as the aberration, or last season when they made the conference finals as the aberration. And for Luka legacy-wise, this is a tough one. Now, it's not a legacy ender missing the playoffs. Kobe missed the playoffs in his prime. Akeem missed the playoffs in his prime. Kareem missed the playoffs in his prime. You can miss the playoffs in your prime and still be one of the greatest players ever. However, it does go on the ledger. You should not have a fully healthy Luka Doncic season and not even make the play-in to be eligible for the playoffs. And the team, against Luka's best wishes, quit the final couple games of the year. We'll see how that works out for him. Maybe they end up with an awesome draft pick. Maybe they move up in the lottery and they get Scoot or amazingly somehow get Wembanyama. But you're talking about a 7'5" French kid that plays guard. We've never seen anyone like him. 7'5".
That's insane.
No, we've never seen anyone like him. The concern is
he just tall though, or is he actually like?
No, that's what I'm saying. He plays guard. He shoots threes. He plays out on the perimeter. He brings the ball up. Never seen an athlete like him ever. So a lot of teams were trying to be bad this year because the worst teams have the best chance of getting the number 1 pick. The concern with him is health because guys that tall usually aren't healthy.
Gotcha.
But for context for that, LeBron is 6'8". So he's 9 inches taller than LeBron. The Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is not even 7 feet tall.
How tall is Shaq?
7'1". So this guy's 7'5".
Wow.
Do you remember Yao Ming, the Asian guy who played for Houston?
Yeah.
Yao Ming's 7'4". This guy's 7'5" and plays guard. He's unbelievable. So listen, if the Mavs get him, then it all worked out. But they're probably not going to get him. They're probably going to end up with Grady Dick from Kansas, the 10th pick of the draft, and that's not exactly a world changer. So some of this, though, Luka needs to get in better shape. Luka is reportedly, oddly, loves sweet tea and drinks a ton of them, like a lot a day.
Arizona's?
Yeah, something like that, and it puts on weight. He also smokes hookah, which, again, he's a pro athlete. He's now, in his defense, because he's from Slovenia, he plays for their Olympic team and their World Championship team during the summers. So he has had like 3 straight years of nothing but basketball. You had the bubble playoffs, then you had the Olympics, then you had a season, then you had the World Championships, then you had another season. So he needs a break, but he needs to get in better shape. They got to figure out what they're doing with Kyrie. They are teetering on disaster. The Hawks are full-blown disaster. Yeah. And listen, Trae Young's dad gets mad at me about this stuff. I really like Trae coming out of Oklahoma. He is an offense unto himself. We have seen him be the engine of a team that made a conference finals. You can't take that away from him. Here's what you can say, though. He seems to be a coach killer. He kills you defensively. And he doesn't seem to be the best organizational leader. So if you're Trae and you're hearing you're already being shopped, it's less about will the Hawks actually trade you and more about whether you get traded or not. Are you going to adjust some of your leadership and personality issues to be a winning player? You're going to have defensive issues no matter what because of your size. But you're so great offensively, if you were a better leader and better with teammates and coaches, you could be one of the great players in this league. Right now, he is, as Bill Simmons would say, a good stats, bad team guy. That's just what he is. And his trade market's going to be very interesting this offseason if they actually do shop him. All right, next.
Okay. You picked your All-NBA team.
Yeah, we're gonna. You can keep reading the question, but we're going to show you guys that on the screen. Go ahead.
You don't really have a real vote, though. I don't know where you got the idea that you did. But you put on Luka, even though he missed the playoffs, and no Jalen Brunson?
Yeah.
Okay. How is that possible?
Okay. So I'll be listen. So here's my All-NBA teams. If you're not watching, I'll give it to you for the podcast listeners. I actually believe, and leave this up for a while, guys, I believe in true positional designation. So I know the All-NBA actual ballot, they let you call Embiid a forward. They let you call Luka a guard. They let you call Tatum a guard. That's nonsense. We know what positions these guys play, and I stay true to it. Next year, they're getting rid of the positional designations altogether. I hate that, but set that aside. So my first team is very easy at the top and then gets complicated. Embiid, Giannis, Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, and Steph Curry. So Embiid is my MVP. He's got to be first team. Giannis is still the best player in the league. He's my second in MVP voting. He's got to be first team. Tatum's been unbelievable. He had a bit of a slow post-All-Star break, spell, but that's fine. He's a no-doubt first-teamer. The guard spots are tough. I went De'Aaron Fox because his clutch numbers this year have been out of this world. The Kings are the 3 seed. No one saw that coming. And then my other guard spot went to Steph. Now, he didn't play as many games as other guys. I get it. But to me, my minimum threshold games is right about 2/3 of the season. You've got to play at least about 54 games to be eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Steph hit that mark. I don't think this Warriors team is very good. He got them to the 6th seed. He gets the last guard spot. Second team, Jokic, obvious center. Forward, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Luka. So, let's deal with the guards and the forwards. Luka still was 32, 8, and 8 this year. There's 32, 8, and 7 this year. They were the 4 seed before they traded for Kyrie. I can't knock him off the All-NBA teams altogether. Now, could I knock him down to the 3rd team?
Well, you couldn't technically do anything, you know.
You mean because I don't?
You don't really have the power to do that, but go on.
You want to know something tragic that happened to me? I don't know if I should reveal this, but I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Lefko, he was at our Halloween party dressed as Zach Morris. And
Who's Zach?
From Saved by the Bell. And his wife
yes.
was Lisa Turtle.
Uh-huh, yes.
You remember them. He and I went to college together.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dear friend of mine and works for TNT, hosting Inside the NBA. He texted me like 2 weeks ago, check your email. I'm like, what's it about? He's like, check your email, NBA awards votes. Because he got an email that he was a new voter. Again, Lefko, if I'm not supposed to be revealing this, sorry, but it's too late. So I'm like, oh my God. They're inviting in the new crop of voters because there's 120 voters. And there is no argument that I am not one of the 120 most qualified media members for this. Well, it's mostly America, but yeah, people that cover the NBA. So I'm like, oh man, they brought in Lefko. They're going to bring in me.
They don't want you.
No email. They don't want me. It's outrageous that I don't have a vote, but I don't. Okay, so back to the Luka thing. So I could have put Ja over Luka for 2nd team, but Ja had to leave his team because he went on IG Live in a strip club holding a gun, and it almost derailed his team's season. So I don't think that all of a sudden it's like, well, Ja was so much a better teammate than Luka, and Shea's team won one more game than Luka's team. So that's how I can justify Luka. Donovan's obvious. Donovan had an argument for 1st team. And then there's the forward spot that I know some people are going to take issue with. LeBron still averaged 29 a game on 50%, played as many games as Steph, or thereabouts, was in the mid-50s, and the Lakers are really good at this point. And Jimmy Butler, his numbers are not as good as everybody else's. He is a winning player. He has been extraordinary post-All-Star break, even though he didn't make the All-Star team. To me, he deserves a forward spot. Now we get to 3rd team. Domantas Sabonis is a no-doubter. Jaylen Brown at forward is a pretty much of a no-doubter. And then you get to Julius Randle. And the question there is, who do we want to put on? Because I don't think the Knicks are a good story. They're also the 5 seed, and nobody thinks they're that great of a team. I'm not giving them 2 All-NBA guys. So it was either going to be Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson, and this is where, in my opinion, the positional stuff hurt them. I do think Jalen Brunson was better than Julius Randle this year. But the guard crop is so much deeper than the forward crop. Julius gets the spot. Shea's 30-plus a game for a team that did make the play-in. And Ja, the strip club gun incident notwithstanding, was extraordinary and maybe could have been higher. So that's my All-NBA teams. The toughest omissions at guard, Dame averaged 32 a game. He misses because his team finished with the 5th worst record in basketball. Jalen, I explained. Drew Holiday just missed out. Harden could have got a spot, but he missed time and slowed down at the end of the year, but he led the league in assists. Anthony Edwards missed out. At forward, Kevin Durant was 1st team level play, but he only played 47 games this year. You miss almost half a season, you can't be there. Anthony Davis was a tough one to leave out. Kawhi started way too slow, missed a ton of games. and then Triple J and Laurie Markkinen just barely, they would be like 4th, 5th team, and then Bam would be my last center. So there it is. Now you're up to date on the All-NBA stuff, and if anyone watches that and thinks I'm not one of the 120 most qualified people to give out these awards, you're out of your mind. And here's the thing, Diorra, these awards matter. Guys, they're eligible for different levels of contracts, whether or not they make All-NBA or not. So it'd be important to have the most learned, studied electorate as possible. But I get left out. All right, we can just move on to Odell. We did enough on All-NBA. We can skip the follow-up. Go ahead.
Okay. The Ravens gave Odell Beckham Jr. a massive 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Does this mean that Lamar is staying?
I don't understand how either party is doing this. The Ravens, to me, are acting irrationally, and Lamar is acting irrationally. The only person acting rationally is Odell Beckham Jr., who convinced someone to give him $15 million guaranteed, coming off 2 torn ACLs. Also, Odell turns 31 next season. This year, there were 3 guys in the whole league, 31 or older, who had 400 receiving yards. Kelsey, who's ageless, and Adam Thielen.
How old is Kelsey?
Kelsey's 33.
Really?
It's crazy how consistent and great he's been. Kelsey, Adam Thielen, and one other guy who I'm forgetting are the only guys with 400 receiving yards. They're paying Odell like he's going to have 1,200 receiving yards. So I get why Odell took the money. The Ravens are cheap when it comes to their star quarterback, and now paying above the top of the market for an injured receiver who hasn't been great. And I love Odell. Odell actually is my friend, and I'm happy for him. But
would he agree with that statement?
Yeah. Odell years ago FaceTimed DeMonze to tell him how to get his hair like his. When DeMonze was doing like the long, shaggy hair, the kind of the Odell style. Yeah. Odell and I are pals. We haven't seen each other in a long time. But yeah, I'm rooting for him. But because of injuries, he hasn't been great since 2019. He was awesome for the Rams in their playoff run and in the Super Bowl, and then he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. So, and then you have Lamar, who seemingly had some leverage, who asked for a trade, who told the whole world, I don't want to be here anymore, and then puts on Instagram him FaceTiming with Odell when Odell signs, and then they went to live in Miami and partied together. So if you're the Ravens, you're like, I guess Lamar's going to be back. Even though he said he wants to trade, he's recruiting wide receivers for us. I think he's going to be here. And if you're the rest of the league, you're like, well, the Ravens, they think they're in such a rough spot with Lamar, they have to pay Odell double what anyone else was offering. These are just two parties acting irrationally right now. Lamar needs some better advice on negotiation, and the Ravens need to look around the league and be like, some teams are so desperate for quarterbacking, they give Daniel Jones $40 million a year. Maybe we should be happy with our 26-year-old former MVP, unquestioned top 10 quarterback. So I don't get it.
All right.
Diorra, you were extraordinary that segment. Energy was great. The pronunciations were all great. Why am I annoying? I'm complimenting you. That was your first true segment on the show that's going to have tens of thousands of people will watch this.
Don't overestimate yourself.
I see the view counts. I know exactly how many people watch it. I could tell you how many are watching it right now live. And you crushed. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. Come on. There we go. You crushed. Good job. C Block. Ask questions for me in the chat. Diorra will read them. Coming up next, a little game of Nick Wright, Public Defender, and... Oh, you didn't think we weren't going to do a Tuesday show on the second week of April and not talk about Augusta National, Butler Cabin, and the Masters. That's all next as well.
Nap time.
What's right? Stop that. What's right? We'll be right back. All right, welcome back in. What's Right with Nick Wright, episode 141. excellent first segment. And it was, I mean, a lot of that was me, obviously, but Diorra was very good. And very good, especially considering some of these, people and places you're not that familiar with. Like, I'm not sure Diorra could point Trae Young out of a lineup, and yet did a great job with it. So I'm very, very pleased with how that went. You guys can ask questions to either one of us, I suppose, in the chat.
Mostly me.
Okay, well, yeah, if you'd like, that's fine. We'll do that in the C block. But first, Diorra, what are we starting with?
The Masters. The Masters was so exciting. Even DeMonze was super into it on Easter Sunday.
Okay, yeah, so that's DeMonze at my mom's house, asleep, with John Rahm getting ready to pick up, undoubtedly, what was another birdie putt for him.
And I was asleep upstairs.
And you were asleep upstairs. That's true. That is, I mean, it is a rough look for our pal DeMonze.
The zoom in.
I mean, the zoom in is not doing him any favors. He had a nice fit on, though. But go ahead. What's your question?
Okay.
On the Masters.
What were your thoughts on it? How was...
You don't have a Masters question, do you? You just did this to make fun of me?
Yeah, basically.
All right, so I have Masters thoughts, then I have Easter Sunday thoughts. Masters thoughts is Rombo, man, came through for me. Put a nice wager on John Rahm on Thursday.
You look so excited talking about it right
I
now.
love the Masters. I love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
What?
I never heard you
Okay,
talk
stop. That's
about it at
that's
all.
not true. You just tune me out when I'm talking golf. Now, typically, I root for Tiger, and I did put a small wager on Tiger as well. But, okay, don't yawn into the microphone. You can be bored by the golf talk. The audience is here for the golf talk.
Is the audience?
The audience is here for the golf talk. Tiger made the cut, 23 straight, has never missed a cut as a professional, tied the record. Shout out Tiger, and then he withdrew because he was hurt and playing terribly. But that's fine. Made the cut. The story of the Masters.
I'm going to check Instagram while you keep talking.
Okay, no problem. Just do it silently, please. The story of the Masters. Sub-story is Phil Mickelson shooting a 65 on Sunday. And the crowd not really supporting him the way they once did because he went to the LIV Tour. I thought that was interesting. But the bigger story, of course, was John Rahm, who double bogeyed the first hole of the tournament with a 4-putt and then won the thing going away. A remarkable, really, final 71 holes for a guy that really could peel a bunch of majors now. And, this was a really good opportunity for Brooks, who hasn't won a major in a few years. He's now also on the LIV Tour, to get that 5th major. And this is what I don't think people totally understand, which is all right, Diorra is really disinterested, but that's fine. I'm going to get into it.
You're going to keep going?
I'm going to keep going for a moment here.
Okay.
So Brooks Koepka is at 4 majors, which is a great number. Don't get me wrong. It's the same as Rory. It's the same as Ernie Els. It's the same as... So, Diorra, back when golf just had the British Open, the best golfer alive was a guy named Tom Morris Sr. We called him Old Tom Morris. This was the 1800s. Guess who became the greatest golfer in the world after Old Tom Morris?
Who?
Young Tom Morris. Tom Morris Jr.
Oh my God.
Isn't that cool? But so those guys each have four majors. It's once you get to 5+, you get to legendary status. So Phil, the second best golfer of his own era, has 5. Nick Faldo, who you hear at every Masters, has 6. Arnold Palmer, a top 10 golfer ever, is at 7. So for Brooks to have a chance to get number 5, have a big lead, it's a big miss for him. And I love Brooks, but that's a big miss for him. For John Rahm, on the other hand, you now have the question of, now that he has his second, he's won 2 in the last 2.5 seasons. Having won the Open, or the U.S. Open, 2 years ago. He has a top 5 at the Open that same year, and now won the Masters. Can he get up to where Rory is, who hasn't won a major in a decade? Can he do that, or is it going to be more of a Jordan Spieth, trajectory where he wins a few early and then falls off some? I loved it. I thought it was great. I was excited for it. I was happy for Sam Bennett, the amateur, who had a really nice showing. It was a great Sunday. So here's my question, and now I do need you locked back in, not checking Instagram during our Masters discussion. Do you think how I conducted myself on Easter Sunday was rude?
I wouldn't say it was the best, etiquette.
So why do you say that?
I mean, while we were all opening our Easter baskets, you were upstairs, we were all downstairs having a good time taking pictures. We all went outside for a little while. You were still on the couch. We all ate, and you waited until we were all done eating to then grab your plate and bring it to the living room. Not even eat with the rest of us.
So this all happened, and I'm not proud of it. However, I don't make the schedule. There was the game 82 of the NBA playoffs. We had 4 games going on at once that mattered that I had on my computer screen. We had the Masters on. I did participate in the Easter egg hunt. I was there for that. But it was the Masters.
Were you not kind of peeking through the window at moments to
I was watching
check
it on
the
my
TV?
phone.
Oh, you were watching it on your phone.
But I was outside for that. This is the
Easter egg hunt lasted 10 minutes.
Well, that's half a hole of Sunday at Augusta. Here's the thing. We need to not have so many big sporting events on holidays. Because I did feel rude. I didn't feel rude. You
didn't feel rude enough.
I didn't feel badly enough to change my behavior. But I felt a little badly. I'm bringing it up now. But
and you had family that you hadn't seen in so long there too.
You
spoke with them for about 15 minutes and then proceeded to, while they were talking, be like, "Oh,
I was excited, but I did get my mom's friend and my dear friend Nancy, her husband Nick. He was with me watching the Masters. That's the thing is, I was providing a safe space for the other people that maybe felt uncomfortable with all the, maybe people are going to talk politics. Maybe it could get awkward. We were all just in the living room watching golf. It was great. I got to tell you, it was great. I was so happy.
Glad you liked it.
You spent a little time with me. My niece fell asleep on my chest for the first time. It was lovely.
Mia fell asleep on you?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, Diorra thinks that her cousin Mia, that Diorra's her favorite. She's baby.
I am her favorite.
Well, she fell asleep on me. She seemed very happy.
Because I was asleep somewhere
All right.
else.
Because that's the other thing. How am I rude? You went upstairs and took a nap.
I was asleep, and I went to sleep after the Easter egg hunt was done, and I woke back up when Nana said it was time for dessert.
Okay, that's true. All right, next.
Okay. So we're going to play a mini version of Nick Wright, Public Defender. It's been a rough go for your next client. He's been exposed in the playoffs. The whole COVID thing was in the worst trade in sports history.
Arguably, yeah.
And now he's punching his own teammates.
Yeah.
Defend your client, Rudy Gobert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Oh, no.
This is a very simple case. And this is one that, unfortunately, far too many of us can relate to. Sure, many of you in the jury can relate to. And before I explain the case, I would like to go to an old nursery rhyme that all of us have heard. We were almost indoctrinated with it. Yet in my experience, and I think many of your experience, not only is this nursery rhyme not accurate, the exact opposite of it is what's true. And that is, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. And I would ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, think back to the toughest, hardest, most tragic moments of your life. How many of them involved physical violence, the aforementioned sticks and stones, and how many of them involved someone, usually someone you're close with, a loved one, a colleague, a teammate, cutting you to your core, not with a knife, but with their words. That is what happened to my client. Thank you, Your Honor. They do. That is what happened to my client. My client.
But he hit someone.
Well, he was pushed to a breaking
point. He was
point.
the stick in the stone.
Your Honor, please allow me to make my opening arguments without interruption. Should he have punched Kyle Anderson?
No.
No. Does every person have a limit, however? And Kyle Anderson knew my client was playing hurt, knew my client had been, I'm going to use the word, bullied at his previous workplace. Oh, God. And then Kyle Anderson looks my client in the eye, and apologies for the language here, but I am going to read his quotes verbatim for the record, repeatedly called my client a bitch in front of his teammates, friends. He had family in the stands. Repeatedly looked him in the eyes and tried to emasculate him, embarrass him, and bully him. And my client is now in a spot where he has no other choice. What is his best course of action? To
ignore him?
Ignore him.
Walk away?
Walk away. And you know what people will say? See? He's soft. He got challenged. This is not a regular workplace. This is professional sports. Testosterone flying. Professional sports. Do you think it's professional, Your Honor, to repeatedly call someone out their name?
What about another term, be the bigger person? What happened to that?
Well, my client tried that in Utah, and he was traded, sent packing.
You think he was sent packing because he was the bigger person?
Well, he didn't stick up for himself enough, and and he has some playoff struggles on the court, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, okay.
My client was pushed to a breaking point.
So he hit someone.
In the chest, not in the face, not with a weapon. If my client is 7'2", Kyle Anderson is 6'5".
So if someone was being really mean to me, you think I can hit them?
If you felt
the answer
unsafe,
is no.
And
I didn't say unsafe. I said if someone was embarrassing me and making me mad and upsetting me, you think I can hit them?
I'm telling you this.
Not saying I'd win in that fight.
What would I be more disappointed in? If you came home and said, I got punched today. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? You're like, well, a friend of mine and I got into an argument. All our other friends were around, and I kept calling her the B word and laughing at her, so she hit me. Would I be angrier at you for that, or if you came home and said, I got to tell you something, I got in trouble? Why? I punched somebody. Oh my God, why? They were bullying me. They kept calling me out my name. They were embarrassing me in front of people, and I couldn't take it anymore. I'd say, you know what, Diorra?
I just want everyone to know
what?
He would not let that slide.
I'm just letting you. I'm not saying you let it slide. I am saying.
But you're trying to let him slide.
I'm his public defender.
Okay.
That is my job. To defend my clients with give them the most vigorous defense possible. Do you not know how the criminal justice system works?
Well, then I'm giving you another scenario, and the scenario does not sound realistic, sir.
I rest my case, Your Honor, and I move for a mistrial. I think Your Honor had far too much input on this. You're just supposed to let me make my case. You're not supposed to be poking holes in my case. That is not how this segment works.
Public offenders can't tell the judge how to do their job.
Oh, now you're a legal scholar. Can we move on to the game?
Oh.
Can we move on to the game?
I won.
Can we move on to the game?
I won.
Can we move on to the game?
Sure.
What's the name of the game?
Wright-Ins.
Yeah.
Okay. So
look at the picture.
That's great.
That's a great picture. Go ahead.
Okay, so our first write-in.
Yeah.
The T-Wolves went out in style, beating up on the Pelicans, their own teammates, and a wall.
Yeah.
And all is good in Minnesota, as reports say Gobert apologized in the team group chat.
Yeah.
The team with the wildest group chat is the...
I got to think it's probably the Warriors because I don't think they have one group chat. Because Draymond, unlike Rudy, a light tap to the chest, cold-cocked and sucker-punched Jordan Poole in the face before the year. He, by the way, was not being bullied, and he was not suspended. And I don't even know how that group chat works. I think it's just young guys in one group chat. Kuminga,
No, there's
Poole.
definitely friend groups inside the
Exactly.
inside the friend group.
And I think that Steph, Klay, and Draymond and Andre Iguodala, who've been around for every championship and are the elder statesmen, are in one group chat, and then the younger guys are in another group chat. So that's the one I think. By the way, just because we haven't talked about it much, I think the Timberwolves, the bigger loss for the Timberwolves, because also when Gobert plays for the Timberwolves, he's suspended now for their must-win game against the Lakers because he hit Kyle Anderson. He's a great defensive player. That's all he is, but he's a great defensive player. Maybe slightly overrated, but very good defensively. But they have another guy on their team, a very, very good defensive perimeter guy, who would be guarding LeBron. In the same game, he got frustrated with a foul call and punched a wall and broke his hand in 2 places and is out. So the Timberwolves are cooked tonight. They've got no one to guard LeBron. They don't have a backup center now because Naz Reid's also out. They are cooked. All right, next.
Okay, Klay Thompson became the 3rd player ever to make 300 threes in a season after Harden and Steph. Is he the 2nd best shooter ever? Klay Thompson is the number blank best shooter of all time.
Catch and shoot, pure shooting, I'll give him number 2 behind Steph.
Okay.
There is an argument that Ray Allen has a claim there because Ray Allen, for so much of his career, had to be the engine that drove the offense and had to take so many more off-the-dribble threes. Klay really never has to do off-the-dribble threes, so Klay is at worst 3rd, probably 2nd. Steph is inarguably number 1. Next.
Okay. At least 6 teams have reached out to the Arizona Cardinals about trading up for the 3rd overall pick. The team that should trade up is
Okay,
blank.
so at number 3, I would be, if I'm trading up, it's because I want to jump in front of Indy and I want to take Anthony Richardson. He's a project quarterback, but his upside is massive.
Mm-hmm.
The team that I think should consider doing that. Gosh, there's a lot of teams that it might make sense for. But the team, to me, that it could make the most sense for if they could do it would be Minnesota. You have a great receiver in Justin Jefferson. This will be your last year with Kirk Cousins. If you would have to trade a ton, the 23rd pick plus next year's first. But because Kirk's going to play this year, it's not like you'd be giving up a top 5 pick for next year and some other stuff. I think that would make sense. I think the Raiders trading up from 7, 1 year of Jimmy, and then going over to Anthony Richardson could make sense. I think the Titans at 10 could make sense. Any of those could make sense to me. Or the Colts do it just to make sure they get their guy, move up 1 spot. Next.
Okay. 42-year-old Udonis, right?
Yeah.
Haslam played in an actual NBA game this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, on the last week's show, we discussed your wardrobe choices and how my friends feel about them.
Yep.
The old man trying too hard is blank.
All right, I think we might have a Photoshop here that we're going to show you. Udonis is not. Udonis is awesome, and the fact that he's gotten 20. Okay.
Oh my God!
I can't believe.
Can someone send that to me?
They just what is that meme? That's Steve Buscemi when he's pretending to be in high school.
That is amazing.
Okay, I don't look like that.
Yes, you do.
I mean, that is my face, but I don't dress like that.
Yes, you do.
No,
the T-shirt with the zip up.
Yeah, but not the backwards hat, not the skateboard. But you guys can say I'm an old man trying too hard. That's fine. I try to say cutting edge with the style. My wife's
cutting
in
edge
fashion.
with the style.
My wife's in fashion.
Does she like your sweatsuits?
Some of them.
Exactly.
Some of them. Yeah, I'm threading the needle between style and comfort. And by the way, I know you're not talking about wearing sweats. You're 2 for 2 and wearing sweatshirts to this show. I will come for you. You come.
Sweatshirts are different.
Then what? What?
than wearing a full-on sweatsuit.
Yeah, it's not as cool. It's not as coordinating.
No, it's way better than wearing a matching sweatsuit. Did you watch that one movie that just came out?
Well, I'm gonna need more specifics than that.
The one that's basically like You and Mommy. What's it called?
Oh yeah, yes, the Jonah Hill.
Yeah, with Jonah Hill and
Yes, it's I forget what it's called as well, but it was on Netflix. It's Jonah Hill and Lauren London
You
and
People.
Eddie
That's
Murphy.
what it's called.
You People, yeah.
Yeah.
What about it?
Do you remember how he got made fun of for his matching sweatsuits?
I
in
thought
the
he
movie?
looked awesome.
Yeah, and I bet you did.
Yeah, I love that look. I thought Jonah Hill's never looks cooler.
I bet you did.
And he ended up with Lauren London, and I ended up with your mother. So it turns out like
Yeah,
maybe
she's
there's something.
still
there.
made fun of him. It doesn't mean
Well,
that they're
you
cool.
know what? See, here's the thing. She didn't make fun of them.
Yes, she did.
She did. She did make fun of them. However, I'm agreeing with you. However, if I was wearing like Dockers khakis and a Stafford button down, she wouldn't have made fun of them. She also wouldn't have gone out with me. So like, it kind of, while maybe people mock it, there's also, it's kind of, I'm going to say something I shouldn't say. Yeah, it's kind of like smoking cigarettes. You know it's not good for you, but you also deep down kind of know it's kind of cool. Like it's not good for you and no one should do it, but it is kind of cool. Like a grown man wearing a tracksuit that isn't Tony Soprano, you probably shouldn't do it, but it's kind of cool. That's kind of where I'm going with it. So that's my answer. Next.
My answer is you, but that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, your legal battle with Star Wars is back on as Season 2 of Tales of a Jedi is set to return without you.
I mean, Diorra, isn't this outrageous that they base this character off me?
Do they know that you dressed up as this for Halloween?
I don't know. I did it, but my lawsuit is pending, Disney. Go ahead.
Right. However, a new case of stolen likeness has also emerged. Someone on Twitter found a 15th century portrait that looks a lot like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, the prince that was promised. It looks just like him. I've been telling you guys it's the prince that was promised. Not just because he's a great quarterback, because he looks like old European royalty. And now we have a portrait from 700 years ago that looks just like him. I've never been more right on anything. Last one. Go ahead.
So which one's...
Oh, the bigger artistic ripoff? Me. I mean, they totally ripped me off. The other one predates Trevor Lawrence's birth by 700 years. That's not a ripoff. I mean, don't they look... Isn't that crazy? And the craziest thing, we just put a picture of them side by side. That one's crazy, too. But if we can put the Trevor Lawrence one back up, Diorra, I have been calling him the prince that was promised. And now we have a painting of a prince from 700 years ago looks just like him. How about that? All right, next.
Okay. Our producer, Matt Ford, tweeted out that the new Michael Jordan movie, Air, was a 12 out of 10. You had a bone to pick with that. At 2:40 on a Saturday.
Yeah. So LeBron... I'm sorry, go ahead and ask the question.
Okay. My dad was takes to his producer at 3 a.m. because...
I just couldn't let it stand. So Matt tweets out about the Jordan movie. And I'm driving home from a very successful poker game.
At 3 a.m.? That's what time you come home from those?
What does it matter? You're asleep. You're asleep.
That's insane.
It was too good of a game. It was too good of a game to leave. It was actually 3:30 in the morning. It was too good of a game to leave. So I'm driving back, and on my walk to the car, I see Matt's tweet. And it just honestly angered me. Because the Jordan propaganda machine is just in such overdrive that now the story we're getting movies about tennis shoes from 40 god dog years ago. Meanwhile, not a mumbling word from anyone that he's selling the Charlotte Hornets.
I'm wearing some Jordans right now.
I know you are, and he has nice shoes, but he's selling the Charlotte Hornets after 20 years. It's happening right now of the worst ownership general managing tenure in sports history. And not a mumbling word about that. And now I got to deal with my colleague 12 out of 10. Saying it's the god dog new Citizen Kane. And so I just texted him the LeBron's would have been a 13 out of 10. Give me a break. Give me a break.
You mean Space Jam?
No, I'm saying the story of LeBron. His story. The story of Jordan's shoes. Give me a break. So much of this is myth making. It's so unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It really make. Do you know that Michael Jordan had the footage? He owned the rights and had the footage for. There was documentary, but it was never made, of his last season with the Bulls when they won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And people had been wanting to make a documentary about this forever, and he never let them. And then LeBron beat the Warriors in the 2016 finals, came back from 3-1 down, had the greatest three-game stretch in the history of the league, and people were starting to be like, oh my God, he might actually be better than Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And the day of the parade, Jordan greenlit the documentary, and it was a 10-hour documentary.
That's amazing.
And by the way, you know who co-produced it? My co-host, Kevin Wild's wife. And so it's just, I'm just surrounded by the Jordan propaganda machine. Surrounded by it. We read your questions. You can still send them in. We take a quick 60-second break. Come back with your questions. Put them in the chat. That's next. What's right? All right, welcome back in. What's right with Nick Wright? We will read your listener and viewer questions now. Diorra, go ahead and read the one from Shintosis.
Okay. Will Nick remove Luka from his top 50 list now?
So listen. I put Luka on the top 50 as a projection. Because Shaq was on the original top 50, even though he'd only played a few years. No, I will not remove him. I did it. He obviously is not the 20th greatest player of the last 50 years. It was a projection of where at least he will land. This year, though, hurts that argument. But no, I'm not removing it. There's no revisioning. There's no revising the list. The list is what it is. It can evolve as things happen, but I'm not like going to retroactively act like I didn't do it. I did it. Next.
Okay. Al East.
Yeah.
Al East, where would...
Al East is the person. They're asking. Al East asks. Go ahead.
Oh, Al East asked, where would Steph rank on the 50 greatest of the last 50 years if GS wins this year?
If Golden State wins this year. All right, so I had Steph 10th on the 50 best of the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
9 was Shaq. 8 was Akeem. 7 was Bird. 6 was Kobe. If Golden State, and 5 was Duncan. If Golden State wins this year, I would have to put Steph. He would definitely jump Shaq. He would definitely jump Akeem. He would jump Bird. And then the question is, does he jump Kobe? Probably not yet, but would be on track to even if he doesn't win another title. So if the Golden State were to win this year, which they're not because they're going to lose to the Kings in round 1, but if they were to win this year, it would be LeBron 1, Kareem 2, Jordan 3, Magic 4, Duncan 5, Kobe 6, Steph 7. All right, CMD Tower has something to say. Go ahead and read his, Diorra.
He says you gotta have someone at the Blue
Duck. That's the company.
Duck reach out to him.
Yeah.
They've got a Star Wars copyright gift to give to you.
All right, let's get on that. I don't know what that means, but let's get on that. I'm with that. Riley Gerald says moving to Houston in the 2nd grade is definitely justifiable to make it your hometown.
Exactly.
So do you think Deanna gets to claim New York City? She moved here before 2nd grade.
I think she will eventually.
You think she'll claim New York City?
When she gets older, yeah, I think she will claim it.
I think you should claim Kansas City.
Why would I want to claim Kansas City?
Because it is a nice connection you and I have.
Oh, I don't love you, but like, I don't love Kansas City.
That's fair enough. Dusty's out here. Dusty, my TV producer's out here talking trash.
Dusty's always on my side. Me and Dusty are
What
tight.
did he write?
He said a full sweatsuit is equal to being lazy. It's a pre-matched outfit.
Yes, same with a suit. Is that being lazy? That's a pre-matched outfit. Same idea.
Well, if you're just putting on a suit as your everyday outfit,
A lot of people do that.
Uh-huh.
Use lawyers, stockbrokers, all those people. Wait. I disagree with all you guys.
But one is a sweatsuit and one is a suit.
Yeah, well, to each
It's
their
a
own.
total difference.
All right, they're telling us to call for a tweet that we can see
Ring, ring.
on the screen. Call for a tweet. I think we can do that. I'm sorry, Demonze Stan account. Referring to me as just a guy with a Twitter account's mad disrespectful.
I'm going to have to say that Demonze owns this account.
No, that's not him. No. So, listen, pal, I was not disrespecting you. I was saying I think you are the only Demonze stan. I was not trying to be rude. You're a very loyal viewer, and I appreciate you. But I am very excited to see if there's going to be a Diorra stan account made. That would be exciting. All right, and then the last one.
I don't have Twitter.
Diorra, can I answer this or not?
Sure, go ahead. I don't think there's any.
Do you see what the question is?
Yeah, I see what the question is.
So LJG asks, what's the history of Scoot as a nickname? So, Diorra's mom has an unbelievable talent for just creating nicknames
And
for
we're
the
not
children.
going to list them.
We'll say it again?
I said, and we're not going to list them.
No, I won't. No, I won't. But like for Deanna, our youngest, she calls her Baguette. She calls her Rocka. Like things that have really stuck. Demonze's got a nickname from when he was a baby that she still calls him. I used to call Diorra Woot Woot when she was very little. And do you remember where we were when you yelled at me about it? Because I remember it vividly.
No, I don't.
We were at Sky Zone in Houston.
Okay.
Standing in line for like a birthday party or something. Sky Zone's trampoline park.
I think most people know what Sky Zone
Oh, okay.
is.
Oh, yeah. Demonze tried to create a company about Sky Zone. Sky Zone with liquor for adults only. Drink and jump on the trampoline.
That sounds like dangerous, but
That's
really
what
fun.
that's what I said as well. And we were sitting in line and I couldn't find Diorra. And I just shouted, I go, "Whoa, whoa." And she got so mad at me because all her friends were there. And she didn't want me to call her that anymore. She was like, I don't know, 8, 9 years old or something, and was done with the nickname. So I then went, instead of Woot, started calling her Scoot. And then Scoot, because I thought that was less embarrassing, became Scooter. And now that's basically the only thing I call you unless you're in trouble. I don't really have any other nicknames for you. Right? Did I give a good history of that?
Yeah. Are you proud of yourself?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Why do you think I'm proud of myself?
Nothing like that.
I did my little... Diorra thinks I do
He
weird
does like
things.
this little like dance when he's like proud of himself for doing something. He'll do like a little wiggle.
What are you talking
It's
about?
so funny.
Okay.
Like he'll be like, "Did you see what I sent you?"
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I do know this. You did an exceptional job today.
Thank
I
you,
knew
Father.
you'd be good at this. I'm very proud of you. I can't wait to do this with you for the next, what are we doing it? Till you go to college. So like till July?
Wait.
No.
Well,
Well, okay, we'll see.
till like the beginning of June, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe by then you're gonna, be intoxicated with the fame, and people are gonna stop you. You know that, right? You're gonna be in about 3 weeks. You're gonna be walking around New York City, and someone will be like, "Oh my God, you're from the show." It's gonna happen. I'm so excited for it.
Oh.
You did wonderfully. Talk to you guys on Thursday after the Lakers advance in the play-in, as will the Miami Heat tonight. Talk to you guys then. What's right? Hey, it's Nick Wright. Thank you so much for watching. Please do us a favor. Click subscribe. It helps my ego, and Demonze's got a financial bonus writing on a number of YouTube subscribers, so help him out. And also, click the bell. I don't know what the bell does, but they tell me to tell you to click the bell. And your audio listeners, people that have commutes, drives, whatever it is, subscribe to the podcast as well, wherever you get the podcast. Same show, just in your ears instead of through your eyes. All that, check it out. Appreciate y'all.